I'm watching every 90s anime in release order, starting with the winter season of 1990. If a show released before that, I won't be covering it. If a show has a season 1 that came out before 1990, I won't be watching season 2 or any of the movies or specials that came out in the 90s. I watch the entirety of every show, minus a few exceptions here and there. I'll cover those when I get there. And this is part 8, and these are my Patreon patrons, because I have those now, and that's really cool. Go over there to get things early and uncensored and things I don't post here. First up, releasing December 1st, 1991, The Princess Connection. This is 49 minutes for some reason, and it's unsubbed. We open at a dockside warehouse where a man has been shot and killed. Another man stands nearby, despair on his face. Now how you thought a show called The Princess Connection was gonna start, huh? Then we get a title screen that says Princess Connection. Then it says a bunch of the characters' names. Yuki is a curious high school student. She met private detectives Nagisa and Michio during her part-time job at a TV station looking for some excitement. She couldn't forget them afterwards and decided to chase them. Cut to a concert being put on by the idol group Princess Connection. They're out there giving it their all in front of the crowd. Then it cuts to the next day, and our guys also run a detective agency under the same name. Just a group of guys that call themselves princesses who like to play music and solve crimes. That's pretty progressive for the 90s, right? Over at the agency we got Yuki, Michio, Nagisa. The boss is Himiko, and there's also Master. He runs a bar, Nicole. And today at the detective agency, their job is to find a cat. They montage that for a little bit and end up at a park. Most of the time as things are happening, there's a song playing in the background. Some of them are decent. This seems like a 49-minute ad for this album. Yuki spots the cat and chases it for a while, eventually running into these shady dudes with a shady briefcase that seems to be filled with shady drugs. Well, they didn't like that she bumped into them, so they're gonna kill her. And they follow her, and she meets up with the fella, so they go and back off for now. That night, the guys go to the bar and they have some drinks and chill with Master for a little bit. When they leave, a motorcycle man tries to run Michio over. He fails and backs off, and the crew stands strong. Then the motorcycle man goes to a payphone, because this takes place in the 90s, calls this Yakuza guy, then says he'll get revenge for his brother. The next day, the boss gives Michio the day off, I guess because somebody tried to kill him. Nagisa and Yuki are worried about him, so they follow him, and he goes shopping at Farkland. He doesn't want them following him, so he gives them the slip. So they split up to see where he went, and Yuki gets kidnapped by some thugs. They chloroform her. When she wakes up, she's all screams, "Oh, you're not gonna do bad things to me." But the motorcycle man is like, "Hey, yo, it's cool. You aren't the one we're after. We're not gonna hurt you. We're after Michio." The motorcycle man's name is Kazuma, and he talks about his brother. When he was littler, they used to build snowmans, and his brother would watch. And when he fell, his brother disapproved. He loved his brother, but now his hair's green, and his brother's dead. And it's all Michio's fault. He calls the Princess Detective Agency and gives their demands if they want Yuki back. Michio has to come alone to the warehouse where Kazuma's brother died, so he heads out. When Kazuma goes to leave to meet Michio there, Yuki yells at him. Hey yo, he gives it back. They told these two voice actors to act. Michio gets to the warehouse where Kazuma's waiting with a gun, and he confronts him over what happened. Michio's trying to explain the real story, but Kazuma won't hear it. He's gonna shoot when Nagisa comes in on a motorcycle. He won't let him shoot Michio, he gets in the way. Then Yuki screams. See, she was supposed to be left at the safe house, but the boss Yakuza didn't agree with that. He wants to get rid of everyone here and cover up all his loose ends. So he grabbed her and brought her here, and he knew Kazuma would be too weak to take care of things too. So he orders his men to shoot them all. Kazuma points his gun at them, but they shoot it out of his hand, which is impressive, right? But right afterwards, that thug is just gonna shoot Kazuma, so why not just shoot him first? Because then when he goes to shoot Kazuma, Michio gets in the way. He blocks a bullet with his arm. Then he finally has time to explain what happened that night Kazuma's brother died. Michio was face to face with the Yakuza, but he couldn't pull the trigger. That's when Kazuma's brother showed up. He jumped in the way and took the bullet from Michio, dying in the rain. Kazuma finally sees the truth. That's nice, but it doesn't change that they're all about to get shot. But Master shows up, and he throws knives at all the bad guys' guns. Then Nagisa rushes in and starts beating ass, and they're beating up all the Yakuza. But the head Yakuza is gonna shoot him. Luckily, the boss is there and shoots the gun out of his hand. She gives a speech, and the Yakuza book it out of there. And would you look at this? They find the cat from the start of the episode. They gave birth to kittens. And now life has been born at a place that once only knew death. They all go on to continue their lives. That's where it ends. I give it. A sad song plays while they're both heading to the warehouse, and the song was playing for so long that I had time to forget it was playing, then remember it was playing, because it's just showing like slow shots of them driving or close-ups of their face. It took about 4 minutes. For perspective, that's about how long this summary of the show is. Out of 10. Up next, released in December 4th, 1991, Jingi. It's 2 50-minute episodes, and it also has a live action TV show, and it's also unsubbed. So everything I'm about to say kind of has a question mark after it, you know what I mean? This is Jin, and he's a Yakuza. One day he gets sent out on a hit, and he's super nervous about it. He's never killed anyone. While he's waiting, another guy shows up and he shoots him in the leg on accident. He feels terrible about it and takes him to the hospital, and surprisingly, they become friends. The guy's name is Yoshido, and he used to be an anti-establishment extremist. He used to make bombs. Yoshido gets introduced to the Yakuza life through Jin and decides he likes it, and the two of them start working together to rise up through the ranks. One night, Jin's going to be assassinated, but Yoshido was close by and saves him, and they tie the guy up, put him on a boat, and strap a bomb to him. After starting the boat, he goes out into the sea, and the bomb goes off. He explodes. That's insane and badass. In so much media, the bomb attached to people is always getting defused, or it was a bluff or something, you know what I mean? So when one goes off, it just feels good. You get me? You get me. We all just want to watch people explode. Looks like they get in trouble over that, and they gotta apologize to this guy who probably is their boss, but things are looking up for them. Jin's got a girl, Aiko, that he starts seeing. And one time he's reading a newspaper on a bridge, and when she comes up to see him, he throws it off the side. Why? There was nothing incriminating in that paper. It was just a newspaper. It shows them each spending time with different women's a good bit. They're also moving up in the Yakuza world, making deals all over. There's a stock market part where they're making calls and moving money around for a while, and eventually Jin can afford a new apartment. He gets Aiko in there, and things are looking up. Look at that pallet of money, man. Damn. Yoshida's got a fax machine, and he gets a fax, and I love reading these things, and it says, "Don't call me up on time, morning." Whoever that is wants to be left alone. Aiko gets pregnant and her water breaks, and Jin is there with her every step of the way at the hospital. He leaves to get her a teddy bear, and someone tries to kill him. So they tie him up and get info. And then he remembers that his girl's about to give birth, so he rushes back to the hospital. Aiko already went into labor though, and she didn't make it. He stands there and cries, hating that he wasn't there for her in her final moments. But then his son cries. He names him Raiko, and he decides that as a Yakuza, he can't raise a kid. This is no life to be raising a child. So he takes him to the countryside to these people. But after he gets there, he realizes he can't abandon his son, so he brings him back. Such a good guy, right? Well, the next scene, he rapes the woman while they take pictures of it and use it to blackmail her. Or to blackmail these guys? People are getting blackmailed over that. Then Jin hooks up with this woman, Yukiko, that he knows does drugs, and she's kind of connected to the people who sell the drugs. So he holds her hostage to get the info, and he does, and then he sends his guys to go check it out. And look at this guy, his eyes don't fit in this show. He also helps Yukiko detox, and she moves in with him. She helps out with his son, but the guys with the drugs know that Jin and Yoshido are after them, so they set up their own trap. They try to kill Jin, stabbing him, but he fends off the attack and survives. So the enemy kidnap Yukiko, force her to take drugs, then make her call Jin to set him up, and they manage to avoid the trap, which was them shooting a bazooka at a car that Jin and Yoshido were supposed to be at. When the enemy figures out that they survived, they make Yukiko OD on the stuff. Damn. When Jin finally gets there, she's gone, but she left a dying message in her blood. It's letting them know when the next drug drop is gonna be, so they use it to call the cops and get the enemy arrested. Then the two of them laugh on a bridge, basking in the rising sun. And that's where it ends. I give it. This noise he makes at his son, yo. Yo, play that again. Oh, also, you hear the quality of that audio? How peaky and staticky it sounds? That's how half these old ass shows sound. Out of 10. Next, released in December 5th, 1991, Nyuuin Bulky Monogatari Odanji, or Hospitalization Erection Story. Get well soon. This is two 40-minute episodes, and this is Yamashita. He's walking home after class and sees this guy Gishi macking on a girl. Then he goes to get a popsicle on his motorcycle. And Gishi catches him at the park and says, "Yo, let me ride that motorcycle." And he lets him. And Gishi almost wrecks it. So Yamashita tries to stop him. And he's grabbing the motorcycle and he gets dragged behind it, and his leg slams into this pole. Then the dude crashes and they both end up in the hospital right next to each other. Yamashita with a broken leg and Gishi with 2 broken arms and 1 broken leg. And the next 70 minutes of this show is all about Gishi being a horny teenage boy and trying to sleep with every nurse and every woman that he sees. Lots of perverted jokes all over the place. One time they got to syringe some stuff up his bum and everybody gets real happy about it because he's a pervert. They're like, haha, you gotta suffer. He gets free and his friends and one of the nurses take him to the beach. He ends up getting on a boat alone with one of the nurses. Another nurse is trying to stop him. So he spikes a beach ball at her, which she deflects. And when she deflects it, it hits a man who drops his cigarette, and this surfer steps on the cigarette and burns his foot. And he goes all crazy and runs into this guy who knocks over all these surfboards. And when they fall, they catapult this can that hits this woman who throws one of her beers. And this man was going to hit a baseball, but he hits the beer instead, which flies and knocks out this man driving a Jeep on the beach. And he gets stuck in reverse and the Jeep rams into this wooden welcome tower sign that falls and crushes this beach supply stall and sends it all into the road, all the supplies, which causes a car pileup. And the cars crash into more of the vendors on the beach and send food and stuff all over the place. And the beach is chaos, things are on fire. Over on the boat, he's trying to force himself on the nurse, but the other nurse stops him. And during the fight, a paddle breaks and knocks out the driver of another boat. And his boat crashes into the beach and drives into a stall and explodes. And that explosion sets off a ton of fireworks. And the news covers the whole incident. Everything was just crazy. And even though he almost drowned out there, he didn't learn a thing. One time when he's forcing himself on a woman, he gets animated big strong for a second. I don't know, I thought it was kind of funny. The animation part, not the trying to rip people. He ends up finding a baby at the hospital and decides to raise it, and they let him, and I don't get why. And ended up on the news that he got that baby, and this woman sees that, so she comes over to claim the baby and then invites him over to her house for some smoochy times. But she has a boyfriend who is a very strong stand-up guy. He gets off from his long day of work, helps these guys pick up their car. Everybody loves him, he's a great dude. Then he gets home to his woman cheating on him. Merry Christmas. She puts all the blame on Gishi, so the man is gonna run over his junk with his motorcycle, but he stops short and just leaves him in the road. Then as soon as he gets back home, his girl's gone to cheat on him with someone else. So he goes to where she's at, beats that dude up, and then leaves. And he decides to keep the baby, but the hospital calls and says, yo, we need that baby. And Gishi and the girl were trying to bang again. They're at the hospital now, and they run away from the boyfriend who shows up there, and they end up out in the street, and they get hurt and naked in the snow. It never ends. Afterwards, the guy grabs his girl and he takes her home. Maybe she'll stop trying to cheat on him. At the end, he's back at the hospital and they leave him in charge of the baby for some reason. And that's it. That's where the credits roll. I give it. Shows like this, they fall under the ecchi genre, but for real, this genre is just this guy is a pervert. That's what the whole show is about. Out of 10. Next, releasing December 10th, 1991, heukkkokdujanggun. It's an hour and a half and it's unsub. Our hero here is this little boy Binsu. His family are farmers in the countryside, and his father finds a stone floor while towing the land. And he brings a friend over and they check it out, and he tells them they should go to someone else who knows better not to touch it no more. So some archaeologist types come and take pictures, and they find a tomb with some strange statues. That night, a blue energy floats around their home and comes to speak to Binsu. This is the general. He's this little guy made of dirt. He was put in there 2,000 years ago and served the king and queen. Binsu and the general become friends. He tells the boy that he can't tell people about him, or they might shove him in a museum, so he carries him around all secret. On his way home after school one day, this little girl's dying, so they help her out. They feed her a cherry and she gets better. They talk for a little bit. At night, the general needs to recharge his power, and he feeds on the energy of the stars in the sky and old computer noises. And he tells the boy about his life, serving the king and queen, having to let them in through this secret tomb door. There's another tomb down there that the people haven't found yet. That night, 2 more spirits show up and scare some of the villagers. Then the whole village is in a stir. The general grows big and takes the boy to go see those spirits, but they don't approach them just yet. The next day, he's walking home and he can hear the sick girl playing the flute, so he stops to listen and thinks about the meaning of life. Now him and the general are looking for the flower key that unlocks the other tomb, but he lost it long ago. He needs it to free the king and queen's spirits. And that night at home, he says, I'm getting to the bottom of this, and he goes out to figure it out alone. See, the general is made of dirt and it's raining. He can't go out in the rain, but when he sees Binsu out there getting kidnapped, he goes out. He can't make it though, and Binsu is taken. And he wakes up in a shed. When he doesn't come home that night, his parents get worried and his friends and the general are out looking for him. The general finds Binsu in that shed, and they can hear the girl play the flute. Her father kidnapped Binsu so he wouldn't interfere with his work. The little girl is sick and needs surgery, but he can't afford it. So he's going to rob the tomb and sell what they find so he can save his daughter. And he saw Binsu walking up on that, and he was like, well, people can't know I'm doing this. The general is trying to get him free. So he uses this purple light, and this boy follows it like a cat, and he takes him to where Binsu is, but the boy just ends up talking to the girl. It didn't work at all. At home, Binsu's parents are sad as fuck. In his depression, his father goes out for a night walk, and he sees the 2 guys at the tomb. When he confronts them, they say that they got his kid, so he needs to keep his mouth shut and help them if he wants to see his kid again. Also that night, the general enters the girl's dreams and leads her to the room where Binsu is being held. When she wakes up, she goes over there and sees Binsu inside, and she gets her dad's keys, but she can't find the right one. So the general magics one of the keys to be the right one, and she frees him. She gets him out of there and they're walking, but her heart is so weak and Binsu hasn't eaten, so they both pass out. And their dads get there. When they see their kids pass out on the ground, they call an ambulance and he takes them to the hospital, and they rush the little girl to a better equipped hospital because she's dying. Binsu heals up and goes back home. He was just malnourished, and he makes the general a new wheel-first cart so he can fly again. And the girl's father comes to Binsu's house to apologize, then passes on a note from his daughter who's at the hospital. He writes the girl a note back, and the general delivers it to her, and she gives him the flower key. You see, one day when she was cleaning her papa's clothes, she found the flower key in his belongings. The general takes it happy and then goes home, and then she flies around in the sky of daydreams, doing things a normal girl can do. So the general gets back to the tomb and uses the key, and it frees the spirits of the king and queen. Then his chariot crumbles. He's left in a weakened state. His last request is to be buried in the ground. Binsu cries as he does it, and a flower sprouts from the general's chest. And that's where it ends. I give it. Look how happy the moon is right here. He's like, woo, just another night lighting up the sky. I love being the moon. Then it sees how sad the dad is, and it gets sad. Oh, I didn't know there was one sad person. Never mind. Out of 10. Up next, released in December 13th, 1991, Neko Fantasia. It's 26 minutes long, and it's the Christmas season, a time for presents and being together with loved ones. We meet this little kitty cat, Shiro. She wants to run around and play with her family, but everybody's busy for the holidays. Satoko is knitting a scarf for her boy she likes. Mama's paying bills, and Papa's trying to figure out what to get everyone for Christmas. Shiro wants to help everyone in the family and make them happy for Christmas. So she goes to the roof and makes that wish to the moon. Moon, I want to make everyone happy for Christmas. Then something incredible happens. Glitter sparkles down and makes Shiro into a little girl. First thing in the morning, she latches on to Papa and follows him all the way to work. And she's so excited by everything she sees. She runs into every store and kind of steals some stuff, thinking they would all be great gifts. And all the shop owners want him to pay for everything she took, but he don't know who she is. It's not his daughter. He don't know this girl. He don't know his cat just became a little girl. They manage to run away, and she tells him she wants to get a gift for someone. And Papa tells her to think harder about it. Don't just impulse buy something. Then he runs off to school. He's a teacher. Shiro goes to school and listens to Satoko say that she wants a boyfriend. This boy Kagawa. Well, if that's what she wants for Christmas, that's what she's gonna get her. She finds Kagawa and brings him to her class. Shiro grabs the scarf that Satoko made for him and says, yeah, she likes you. She made you this scarf. But Satoko's all nervous. She's a teenage girl and the whole class is listening. She didn't want this embarrassing situation over her crush. She cries and tells Shiro that she hates her and runs away. Shiro walks home sad. Dragon Raiders is playing in theaters. She never wanted to hurt nobody. On the roof of a church that night, she talks to the moon again. Moon, getting presents is hard. I feel like I fucked up. At home, Satoko's in her bed, sad. But she gets a call on her house phone from Kagawa, who's on a payphone, because this is 1991. She apologizes for what happened, but he says he liked it, and thanks for the scarf. Aw, she's so happy. Then the family notices that Shiro hasn't come home yet, so Papa goes out to look for her. When he finds her, she's a cat again, passed out in the snow. Merry Christmas. They bring her home and put her in front of a space heater until she wakes up. Then Sadako feeds her milk on the couch. And the bowl is kind of big for such a small cat. You couldn't feed her milk on the ground? Why you gotta put her on the couch? Sadako says she missed her. She hugs her. Then says if she ever saw that strange girl from earlier again, she would apologize. Well, something tells me that strange girl might have heard you, Sadako. Then it's Christmas celebration time. Everyone exchanges presents, and Papa even got a new collar with a bell for Shiro. Shiro can't believe it. Papa says that the best Christmas present is all of them together like this. Shiro jumps on him for a hug, then the real Santa flies through the sky as the credits roll. And that's where it ends. I give it. Sometimes we can want to help others so much that we lose sight of it all. We lose sight of what we're doing is even what that person wants. Out of 10. Next, released in December 13th, 1991, Alice. It's 47 minutes long and made by Monkey Punch, the guy who did Lupin III. A scientist is after revenge against a woman named Alice who betrayed him. He shoots her car with a bazooka, then grabs her body. After many years of science, he turns her into a sex robot. But as he completes the project, his lab explodes. But he gets to sleep with her one time, then she walks away. Now he's too weak to go on. And as he's dying, he asks his son, Don Jirocho, to get revenge against her. I was gonna say to fuck her. Don Jiro goes through a 5 file that his dad had on her, but it doesn't say what she looks like. So he has this guy, Omasa, gather up every woman named Alice. And the file's decrypted, and all they could decipher from the notes is that having sex with the right Alice will be really good. So he sleeps with all the women trying to find the right one, and eventually he finds her, but passes out from the intensity. He has all his people looking for her. Some army types get her, and they put her in a tube, and he's like, huh, finally got you. Time to avenge my father. And he throws a grenade at her. But then the shrapnel almost kills him. But Alice saves his life and gets away. So they're trying to find Alice all kinds of different ways. One time she just shows up to have sex with Don Jirocho, and they try to shoot her, but she gets away. Eventually they make a clone of Don Jirocho and then make that clone into a cyborg, and they have it fight Alice, and he's beating the shit out of her. But there's an error in his head, and the cyborg Jiro starts to sleep with Alice. When Jiro shows up to stop it, it turns on him, and Alice saves the real Jiro from being moited. And his old scientist friend that's been helping him this whole time remarks that he had an opening to kill Alice at one point, but he didn't take it. He thinks that Jiro's in love with Alice. Jiro says no, and he will get revenge for his father. And Alice looks out as the sun sets and the credits roll. That's it, that's where it ends. I give it. This is just pretty much softcore hentai with some gags. I had to censor what I was talking about a lot. I got falls off. They show a lot of shit, man. Out of 10. Next, released in December 14th, 1991, Moonlight Pierce. This is an hour and 10 minutes, and it's unsubbed. We open with Yumeni, who's having a dream of a man giving her a music box. She wakes up all frizzled. She's got a few friends, Hiroshi on the soccer team, Aki also on the soccer team, who she helps out with the boo-boo, and Raisin, who does karate. One day at school, she hears a song and is entranced. Oh, what is this? So she runs to where it's coming from, opens the doors, and no one's there. But she finds this music box, the one from her dreams, and it has a pentagram seal on it. As she's holding it, a soccer ball breaks through the window, knocking it out of her hands. It opens up, and then an earring magics onto her ear. She can't take it off. They go to the doctor, and he's like, I don't know. Then they meet back at then they meet at Leon's mansion. He was the man from her dream, and another one of her friends. And he tells her that those are the full moon earrings. They're a legendary item that his uncle brought here for safekeeping. He's not quite sure what they do, so he'll have to look into it. He'll get back to her. That night, while she's at home, Hiroshi sneaks into her room to see how she's doing. And her jammies, they have like the suits that are on a deck of cards on them. And Hiroshi's shirt is a bootleg Nike, and I don't like this one. I don't want to say that. While they're talking, he touches her and her earrings light up, and it turns him into a wolf. And it looked like it hurt. They don't know what to do, so they go to sleep. When she wakes up, he's watching her, and he's too close, man. So she gets scared and she hits him, and hitting him turns her back into a person. They get the crew together and they talk about it. But while they're talking, Hiroshi, Aki, and Rainy, but the earring flashes and they all turn into animals. Aki into a cat and Reina into a falcon. They turn back to humans, and Leon found a book with some information. The earring is a cursed item that turns people into animals. To seal it away, they need a sacred pentagram. And he talks about other sacred treasures that they might need. There's 7 of them, and their uncle should have them in Germany. So they go to Germany to talk to him. But when they get there, Uncle says that all the treasures have been stolen. Ah, frick. So they keep trying shit, and they look up who the previous owner of the earrings was and see if there's a way out. It was one Lord Godfrey, who's been dead for a very long time. So they go to his current living relative's home and learn some stuff about him. He seemed like an evil guy. Later that night, Leon confides in Yumeni that since he was adopted, he doesn't feel like he deserves to be the head of his family, and that other people in his family resent him for it. After he says that, he drinks some tea, and it was poisoned. He survives, but he's bedridden. And then his uncle shows up all mad that he was poisoned, and he blames Yumeni, so he kicks her out, and Hiroshi goes with her. But while they're secluded, they decide that, and he turns into a wolf, and she rides him back to the house, where it turns out it was the uncle who was trying to kill Leon, and he tries to stab him while he's in bed, but Leon's got enough strength to hold him back. While that's happening, another guy is trying to kill Aki and Raisin, but Raisin got them moves. Look at this fight, kind of clean. Aki rushes to Leon. When he gets in there, he pushes the uncle out of the window, and they're both falling to their death. Luckily, Yumeni gets there just in time to turn Aki into a cat, and he survives the fall, but Uncle don't. The cops arrest the thug and Uncle's dead body, but they still gotta solve this curse. That night, a storm hits, an unnatural storm that blows the windows open, and a chandelier almost kills Leon. It was clearly curse related. Things aren't looking good. So they take Yumeni to a special room where Leon puts his special evil sensing dagger up to her, and it turns black. There is indeed still evil in her. She runs away sad. She has to do something about it. She doesn't want everybody to get hurt because of her. And her shirt says "end funny." She decides to march to the top of this tower to deal with the evil spirit inside of her, blocking the others out to do it alone. She gets inside this creepy room, and the storm outside is going crazy. But Aki manages to climb in through the window, and he tells her that he figured out a spell, so he casts it in that room, and a pentagram shows up at his feet, and it hurts him, and he yells all funny. He gets possessed by the spirit of Godfrey, who tells them the truth. He wasn't evil at first, but was accused of sorcery. It was all a trick so that he wouldn't inherit his father's riches. So while he was in prison, he made a pact with evil forces to get revenge. That's when he got loose and started doing evil things and became the infamous evil Godfrey. She feels for him and tries to get him to do good things, but he says no, he's gonna possess her and do more evil. I'm gonna do bad things. And he's about to get her, but Leon comes in through the window and throws his special dagger, and the others show up too, but they still don't know what to do. Everything's all frantic. Aki's on the floor and he says that if they kill him, then the spirit will die with them. So do it. He will make that sacrifice for Yumeni. Damn. There's a dramatic pause, and then Yumeni says no. Look, take my body. Your life sucked. You didn't deserve that. You deserve to live a normal life, so you can share my body with me and see how good life can be. Her accepting him, showing him love and friendship for the first time in his life, brings him to tears. He sees now that not all people are bad, that maybe he could have lived a happy life. After accepting these feelings, he passes on. Later on, they put some flowers on his grave, and everybody's bantering and having fun. But the curse is still in place. They turn into animals. Oh boy, they sure do have to make work, couple. And the credits roll. I give it. I found this show in Italian, but then at one point, they just accidentally left the Japanese dub in there.
Tutti quelli che saranno colpiti dal fascio di luce dovranno cooperare alla disfatta dello spirito malefico.
仲間たちが変わるのはこの呪いのせいだということになるな。
どうすればliberarci di questo maleficio?
In due modi.
Out of 10. Up next, released in December 21st, 1991, some Nadia specials. So we got 10 shorts here that total to 40 minutes. Each episode, they just take a little bit of time for the characters to talk to us. They're all drawn pretty cute. So if you haven't seen part 1, that's where we covered Nadia. Each of these little episodes, they go over the show, little parts of their world. If you remember the evil guy Gargoyle, he gives a big speech, and then at the end of it, they let us know that it was 100 years ago. Little facts like that. They tell you all about the Nautilus and how it works. Marie puts on a puppet show. They tell you how the blue water, her little necklace, works. They have a beauty pageant where Nadia loses. It's just one more little fun thing about the show. I give it. You see this part where John's learning about the Nautilus from Elektra? I always wanted to be that kid in the TV shows where the adults sitting there explaining everything. I always wanted to be that kid that got to ask the question, but what does that mean? Why does water do the thing when stuff is away? That was my dream as a 7-year-old. Out of 10. Up next, released in December 30th, 1991, Kyojin Z Night. This is a 9-minute short that was used as a promotional ad for a line of mech model kits created by Tomy, and it's unsubbed. In a distant future, Earth went off into space and found a planet called Z, where giant robots live. They brought some back to understand them and ended up creating the Titans, huge mechs that almost ended all life because of the wars they used them in. So they outlawed them. Now, hundreds of years later, war is starting again, and they have made smaller versions of the Titans, which we would say they're a basic sized mechs. There are factions, one led by this guy who has a general, this blonde man, and up in space they're having giant space robot war. And down on the ground there's war too, and there's a drama between a man and a woman. They love each other. She doesn't want him to fight, but he goes anyway. Time passes. She gets hurt at home or something. That general shoots one of his men. Robots are fighting, laser beams, blood, and explosions. An entire city is decimated. The only survivor is the boy from earlier. He's hurt, but he recovers, and so does the girl, and they sit in the rubble together, love. But the war goes on, and the general decides to hit the battlefield himself, and that's where it ends. That's pretty much all I could gather. I give it. It was never officially stated by Tomy, but these seem to exist in the same universe as Zoids. The planet that they go to, Planet Z, is the planet where the Zoids live in the Zoid show. That's neat. I always like Zoids. Out of 10. Up next, not sure when it released, so I'm putting it here. How to Know Piyobupt. It's 3 4-minute episodes of claymation with animation mixed in. It's about these 2 hat-wearing birds, Kato and Piyo. They make a house together with this purple guy. Kato and Piyo have a neat scene where they use their imaginations to interact with each other. It was pretty cool. And then one time they make some sandwiches. Simple little, so they don't use words. They just, they do that talking thing where they go, That's it. This is on YouTube. The channel is Yamamura Animation. They got other stuff on there that's pretty neat. I give it cartoon sandwiches always look so damn good. Out of 10. Now let me hit you with some stats. In those 10 shows, we had one idol show, one Yakuza show, one mech show, a couple ecchis, 3 kid shows. I counted 3 different ghosts, 2 instances of Christmas, 7 of them were unsubbed, and about 11 weapons got knocked out of people's hands. That's it. That wraps up all of the shows that came out in 1991. Next time we'll be moving on to 1992. Isn't that exciting? Yeah, that's it. Peace out. Love you. See you later.